Let me tell you something. Never in your life get an overdraft. Never. Okay, the same can be said for personal loans as well as credit cards, but never get an overdraft. Even if somebody is standing, with a gun pointed to your head, do not get it. Hi everyone, my name is Elethu and welcome back for those of you who are returning, and welcome for those of you who are seeing this channel for the first time. Welcome to the LadyWealth.Africa channel. Now, in my previous video, I was very vulnerable. I was very open with you guys about how much I actually owed. In this video, I kind of want to share with you guys how I got there, right? And it wasn't just something that happened overnight. I didn't wake up with all this debt. It was a gradual of looking back, questionable decisions that were not necessarily very wise, and decisions that were made because I did not have thorough knowledge. And I think I want to help anybody out there who might be considering, buying property, getting into debt, any sort of debt, to sort of just think about it and gather as much information, what it is about what they are getting themselves into, right, as they possibly can. I'm going to start off with the story of how I bought my property. So when I started my current job, I had a very good credit record. I didn't really owe anything. I didn't have any, I didn't own anything as well. I didn't own a house, I didn't own a car. It pretty much was just me and a few things that I owned. But since about 2014, I'd always wanted to buy property in East London, particularly because my mom has a property in East London and she's renting it out to students. Although it's an informal market, she was making money. And I thought to myself, this actually looks like it would be a good sort of investment. And so I kind of had it in my head, as soon as I start working, I'm going to buy myself property and I'm going to rent it out to students, but I'm going to do it in a formalized structure, so I thought. And so when I started my current job, I was bummed because it was a contract, right? And it's kind of not easy to get houses, and you can maybe get a car, but getting a property on contract is not that easy. So on my first year, I have 3 years. I'm like, okay, this is not even a long time. It's not even 5 years. It's 3 years, the contract. Who's going to give me a loan for 3 years? So on my first year, I was like, okay, let me test if I'm going to get the loan. If not, I'm just going to buy myself a car, knowing that at least I tried. So I didn't have anything. I had no money. I had 0 rands or dollars, whatever you call it, whatever your currency is. I had 0. So I was like, okay, let's see. I'm gonna apply for 100% loan. So the main 4 banks in South Africa rejected me outright. That's FNB, my personal bank. That's Standard Bank, Nedbank. What is the other one? Absa. Yeah, they rejected me outright. But then I had I was applying through a bond originator, I think that's what they're called, and she referred me to somebody, to a SA Home Loan consultant, and SA Home Loans were willing to fund me, but they did not give me the 100% loan that I wanted. They gave me 75%, and I think they sort of maybe funded me for a number of reasons. One, I had a very good credit record. And secondly, I have a master's degree, so my employability probability is a little bit higher than most people. And so I think those are probably mainly the main reasons why they gave me the 75% loan. They didn't give me a full loan, maybe sort of but that's just my view, that because I was on contract. And so now, I'm smelling blood. I'm like, you're going to give me 75%? And I'm thinking, how am I going to raise 200 plus 150,000 rands. And but like when I put my mind to something, I don't know, I was like, I'm going to raise that money. I'm going to do what I can to raise that money. So because I sort of had a good credit record and I'd been banking with FNB for many, many years, and I think, they've been tracking, okay, my income over the years. Before I even went through this process, I had been pre-approved for a personal loan of 150,000 rands. I had been pre-approved for an overdraft. I had been pre-approved for a credit card. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna go and get all of those, right, to make up the 200 and plus money that I needed. Unbeknownst to me is that when you get approval for like a property or whatever, there's the initial approval based on your initial based on they look at your initial credit record and they're like, okay. And then 3 months down the line, because it takes about 3 months for for the whole property changing if you're getting a loan, so that's quite a lengthy process. It takes about 3 months, and then before they pay, all right, for that loan that you're getting, or the company borrowing money from, before they pay, they do another credit check. See, girl, I did not know this. And there I am, I'm getting debt after debt after debt, because I need to make about 270 plus K in order to raise up this 25%, and that is also inclusive of like transfer fees and everything. And I managed to make this 20 and whatnot K. But then when it was the third month and they did the second credit check, they were like, what? Miguel has accumulated so much debt in 3 months. How is she going to be able to? And they rejected my loan application. But over that time, I had sort of managed to, what I had done, because I got the personal loan and I got the overdraft. Let me tell you something. Never in your life get an overdraft. Never. Okay, the same can be said for personal loans as well as credit cards, but never get an overdraft. Even if somebody is standing, with a gun pointed to your head, do not get it. Okay, so I'd gotten all of that personal loan, overdraft, credit card to pull up to raise that money. And I think by this time, the overdraft was almost killing me, because, my account was like negative 26K. And as soon as my salary comes in, I use it up and everything. And it's still at that negative 26K. But I sort of worked quickly to pay it off. And when they rejected my application, I had accumulated a bit of money, so I paid off there was another 20,000 rands that SA Home Loan offered me, which is a personal loan as well, for the transfer fees. So at that time, when they rejected my application for the property, I quickly paid off the 20K, and I think I finished paying off the overdraft. I even paid off, I only left 5,000 rands of my credit card, which was around, 30-something thousand. So then I reapplied, and then they approved, right? And I got the house I wanted. And trust you me, it was an anticlimax after that, because I'm like, I got myself into so much trouble just to get this house. Now I'm struggling to even maintain this property that I have, right? Because it needs a lot of refurbishing and whatnot. It kind of needs some work. And, I'm struggling to maintain it. And also, I had some resentful feelings around the property. I do, one of the major issues, I feel like I could have negotiated a bit more, and paid less for the property. And also, I was just resentful. I'm like, I worked so hard to get you, and now, it's not even, I'm not getting a return on my investment as I had hoped I would, right? I did manage to get in students. My mom is helping me manage the property. And you know, but she charges my money. The woman charges my money. Some months I don't even get my rental money. But you know, that's a topic for another day. How, you know, I need to really learn to untangle my money and my mother's finances. So that's literally how I got to, that's how I got the property and where I am with it. It is sort of making a bit of money, but well, it was prior to the situation that's currently happening. There were students in the house, except for the fact that, you know, the money didn't quite get to me. You know, somebody else was using it, but you know, it was sort of, I'm sort of able to pay off its expenses and not necessarily get anything more than that. Before I was able to do that. And then fast forward to last year. So this happened in 2018. Fast forward to last year. Last year, and I had a lot of issues that were happening at work. And I seriously thought that I was going to be fired. I thought I was going to lose my job. So I was in a very emotional state. I was depressed. I was going through a lot of stuff. And I thought to myself, okay, it looks like I'm going to lose my job. If I lose my job, you know, what am I going to do? So I was like, okay, let me go buy a car that I am going to put on Uber. And if I lose my job, I'm just going to be an Uber driver, you know, something to fall back on. Even the house was also itself something to fall back on. It has always been something to fall back on. So I go and I buy this car. And so by this time, I have a not so rosy, well, not even a rosy, like thorny, it's a thorny credit record. But they approved my loan, and at a very high, I feel like it's a high interest rate at 16%. That's a lot. And so I get the car. Also with the car, I have some resentments around that, you know, looking back, because I'm like, I could have just maybe bought a car that was a lot cheaper. And even the Uber itself didn't quite work out as planned. I had a lot of issues with drivers and this and that, you know, and it was registered in East London and then it was registered in Cape Town. I live in Cape Town. When it was in East London, my mom was charging the money. Black text, you guys. The story of the credit card, because I paid my credit card up until around 5,000 rands. Somebody managed to convince me to increase my credit card and use that money from the credit card to pay off my personal loan, because my interest rate on my credit card was much less than my interest rate on my personal loan. And I listened. When I listened to this, it was a private banker, you know, my bank account came with a private banker. So, you know, she advised me to do this. And look, it's a pretty good advice in a sense. But the problem is at that time I was going through financial difficulties. That's when my financial difficulties were starting. So instead of pay off or try and take that money and pay the personal loan, what did Miguel do? I used it for my monthly stuff, right? Because I'm not getting all of my money from the property, and now my expenses are much more than what I am making. I used it all up. Now I have that to pay back as well. I never even paid a cent towards my personal loan. So that's pretty much what happened. And Rhodes University is from my time when I was doing my master's. Honestly, I cannot understand why I did not pay this off in 2017. I really, really cannot understand. I'm like, what was I doing with my money in 2017? Because I had low expenses and my income was a little bit higher. What was I doing with my money? Why didn't I pay off this loan? I don't know. I really, really do not know. But, you know, you have to forgive yourself. And then the last one is my my retail account, which with TFG, which I should have never opened, but I opened it because I wanted to buy a couch. When was this? I think this was last year. I opened the account. I bought like a lot of stuff for the house, and now I have about that almost 4,000 that's left, and hopefully I'm going to pay that in 3 months and be done with that. But basically, you know, the story around here is that I made unwise decisions. I made emotional decisions, and I did not think them through. You know, I didn't research, I didn't sort of try and realize how they could affect my life differently, and now I am in the mess that I am in. But I want to encourage you guys to also sort of do this exercise. Take a look at everything that you owe. Take a pen and paper, you know, put pen to paper and write it all down, just so you can see it and be aware of it. And if it's huge like me, try and come up with a game plan, you know. If not, you're doing great. Good for you. Be an example to the rest of us. So also, if you guys have any ideas of what I can do to earn more money, please leave them in the comment section, okay? The only thing I don't want to hear about is network marketing. Please don't invite me to join your pyramid scheme. Do not invite me. But also, please subscribe to this channel, as well as hit the notification bell so that you can get a notification when I upload my next video. And please do not forget to go over to www.ladywealth.africa and subscribe to our mailing list so that you can get all the information that I will not be sharing on YouTube. This is information that I will be information that I'm learning on my daily basis. So I guess I will see you guys over there. Have a good day, and I wish you well.